The question stumps me. I have to concentrate. Last year. She wants to know where I am living, and I explain that I am sharing an old house downtown with some friends from high school. There's a silence. Did your parents die together? She asks quietly. No. Who died first? Again, I have to concentrate. My father. How much later did your mother die? 5 months later. There is little affect in my voice. For a while now, I have not been able to remember my parents' faces, and I tell her this. She looks at me, and a flux of anxiety stirs in my chest. I am a plump 7-year-old in white bobby socks and brown loafers, with a pixie haircut and a freckled nose. My jumpers are a little tight around the middle, but I secretly imagine myself as a combination of Jennifer Jones in The Song of Bernadette, a movie my mother loves, and the nun, Saint Therese. In one picture in the Illustrated Book of Saints, Therese stands in a garden, looking at a rose, touching it lightly and smiling. Whenever I find a flower, real or plastic, I touch it the same way and smile at it as if it were a small person. Mom gets a record of fast-paced Irish jigs, and we dance wildly in our socks, slipping on the wooden floor, to O'Sullivan's March and the rocky road to Dublin. Soon after, a family moves into the newly constructed house next door. Their dog has puppies, half dachshund and half cocker spaniel. We pick one from the litter and name her Susie. She chases toys and balls and lets Jerry pull her in the back of his red wagon. She's sweet and docile with reddish-brown fur, and when we croon at her, she wags her tail. When I carry her around like a baby, she looks up at me with big brown eyes. We 4 kids stand in a little group in front of the house. Dad holds the brownie box camera at his stomach and looks down into the window at the top, where he sees us reflected. Then he snaps. Jerry says that the camera has an eye that's just like a human eye because the lens turns what it sees upside down. Dad taught him this, he says. Later, when the camera is on the kitchen table, Jerry calls me over to look at it. It came from the East, he says. It's older than me and you. I peer down into the square window, but all I see is a faceted chamber made of thick glass. Jerry says, when you press the click button, the camera remembers. It has a memory? I ask. He nods. When the brownie box camera is left for weeks high up on the bookshelf in the living room, I wonder if it is my father's eye and memory that are in there, separated from him. I am almost always in a hurry, my mind on my classes in the theater department, or a play, running lines in my head or out loud over the noise of the car radio as I drive past the tap room in Coronado Center, where my father bartended into the small hours of the morning, and the Institute of American Indian Arts on Cerrillos Road, where my mother worked as a secretary. These landmarks are unavoidable, in plain sight along 2 of Santa Fe's main roads. New Mexico's harsh sun lights these buildings where my parents worked and died with the same intensity as it does the rest of the buildings. The 7-Eleven, the highway department, the Pizza Hut. Everything is equal in the nearly blinding brilliance, in this supernal light. It seems wrong that these places blend in so easily. Sometimes I drive to the tap room or the Institute of American Indian Arts, park, and try to get things clear in my mind. I imagine my mother's white Rambler station wagon, or my father's brown Chevy sedan, parked beside my used Mustang. I imagine my mother inside at her office desk, typing in that clean white Adobe interior. Or I picture my father filling glasses with ice in the cool red dark of the tap room, dragging a damp cloth over the polished wood surface of the bar, the simple tasks of the living. What's wrong, Reggie? Kim asks. She has insisted I come to her office. I could barely keep my eyes open in her class. I didn't sleep enough last night, I reply.